What if the future of artificial intelligence depended on the same place that once terrified the world?
There was a mindset throughout the industry.
Highways are backed up and telephones are jammed.
A major accident could never happen.
3 Mile Island, known for the most infamous nuclear accident in American history, is being brought back to life. But this time, it's not fear that drives it, it's technology.
That's right, David. And this morning, Constellation Energy said that it will reopen the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant.
Microsoft has committed $1.6 billion to lock in power from this nuclear giant. Not for homes, not for factories, but for its exploding empire of AI and cloud computing. For 2 decades, the electricity from 3 Mile Island will flow straight into Microsoft's digital veins. This isn't just another corporate deal. It's a turning point, a bet that nuclear power, the very thing once seen as a threat, can now become the lifeline of our digital age. But why now? And why here? Let's find out.
Selling all of the power to Microsoft as a part of a 20-year agreement to power the tech giant's data centers.
The story doesn't begin inside the reactor halls. It begins inside the servers. Every search on Bing, every AI response, every file saved in the cloud, it all eats up energy. Data centers as big as airplane hangars hum day and night. Their hunger for power never stops. And as AI grows, that hunger grows with it. But here's the problem. Where does all that power come from? Around the world, grid operators are sounding the alarm. They warn that AI could push us into an energy crisis. The grid, built years ago for homes and factories, was never meant to feed supercomputers running 24/7. Renewables help, but they have their limits. The sun goes down, the wind stops blowing, and when they do, the gap is filled by fossil fuels, bringing more carbon into the air. So what can tech companies do? They can't slow down AI, they can't risk blackouts, and they can't keep talking about a green future while burning coal and gas. The answer has to be something else. Power that is steady, power that is clean, power that is huge. That answer is nuclear. And one by one, the world's tech giants are turning toward it. Amazon is backing small modular reactors to lock in long-term carbon-free electricity for its cloud empire. Google is making deals with advanced nuclear developers, betting that the next generation of reactors will power its data centers. And as we explored in the previous video, Meta has already taken the leap, signing a 20-year deal for nuclear power to fuel its AI boom. But now comes the boldest move yet. Microsoft, the heavyweight of the AI race, has placed a $1.6 billion bet on nuclear. And the place it has chosen? A site not remembered for progress, but for disaster: 3 Mile Island.
An unexpected release of more radiation today from the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant has led to a series of consequences.
So how did this island become so famous and so feared? The story begins in the 1970s when 2 pressurized water reactors rose on the Susquehanna River. Known as Unit 1 and Unit 2, they promised a future of clean power without coal. But in 1979, everything changed. Unit 2 suffered a partial meltdown after a chain of failures and mistakes turned into a crisis. Radioactive gases escaped into the air. Fear spread across the nation. Overnight, 3 Mile Island became a warning to the world, a symbol of nuclear danger. And yet, the story didn't stop there. Unit 1 survived, and for the next 40 years, it quietly produced about 835 megawatts of carbon-free electricity, enough to power 800,000 homes, freeing the PJM grid with steady power day and night. But in 2019, even this final reactor was shut down, leaving the island silent. Now, after years of silence, the island is being reborn as the Crane Clean Energy Center. A place once marked by fear is preparing to power the digital future, not as a ghost of the past, but as a cornerstone of what's next. So why would Microsoft tie its destiny to a site with such a troubled history? The answer is simple. The reward is bigger than the risk. Reliable, zero-carbon energy on a scale few projects can match. And for a company racing to feed the hunger of artificial intelligence, that reward is priceless. But how exactly will this $1.6 billion gamble reshape 3 Mile Island and the grid itself? Step inside the plan, and the numbers speak volumes. The Crane Clean Energy Center will restore 835 megawatts of nuclear capacity. That means about 7,000 gigawatt hours of electricity every year, enough to power entire cities while keeping Microsoft's vast network of data centers running round the clock. But what does that really mean? This isn't just electricity for today, it's firm, carbon-free energy that will stabilize the grid for decades to come. And here's the key question. How long will Microsoft hold on to this power? The answer? 20 years. Microsoft has signed a power purchase agreement, or PPA, effectively claiming every watt the plant produces. It's like locking in energy as steady as the river that cools the reactor. For Microsoft, this is more than a deal. It's an energy fortress, safe from rising fuel costs, market swings, or grid shortages. The scale of this agreement stretches beyond Microsoft servers. By restoring the plant's capacity, the project delivers an addition equal to 6 years of Pennsylvania's forecast demand growth. That's not a marginal boost, it's a major reinforcement for one of the largest power markets in the world, the PJM interconnection. In practical terms, it ensures Microsoft has the electricity it needs to power its AI ambitions, while the wider grid gains a backbone of reliability that supports homes, businesses, and transport electrification across the region. This is why the PPA matters. It's not just a corporate contract, it's a 20-year bridge between nuclear power and the digital revolution. But the impact doesn't stop there. The scale of this deal is monumental. Over 2 decades, the plant is forecast to add nearly $16 billion to Pennsylvania's GDP. During the early development phase, covering engineering, procurement, and construction, about $2 billion flows into the economy. And once the plant is operational, another $14 billion ripples outward through supply chains, maintenance cycles, and the thousands of jobs tied to its activity. And those jobs are no small detail. About 3,400 positions statewide are supported by the project. Inside the plant, around 600 permanent workers will keep the facility running day and night. But here's the bigger question. What happens beyond the fences? Each year, another 2,800 indirect or induced jobs ripple through Pennsylvania, from steel suppliers and construction crews to restaurants, trucking firms, and local contractors that benefit from the steady flow of workers' wages. So where does this impact land the hardest? Dauphin County, where the plant stands, captures the lion's share of this growth. Once the reactors are running again, the county should see nearly $11 billion in GDP boosts and around 2,000 jobs supported annually. And the reach doesn't stop there. Neighboring counties are pulled into the orbit as well. Lebanon County adds about $708 million in GDP and 210 jobs per year. Cumberland County gains nearly $600 million in GDP and about 170 jobs annually. Lancaster and York counties also see measurable benefits, with hundreds of jobs supported through stronger supply chain links. But why does this growth keep coming back year after year? This pattern follows what economists call a dual cycle effect. First comes the 5-year development surge, when construction, engineering, and procurement hit their peak. Then begins the 20-year operational cycle, with stable growth and extra peaks tied to biennial refueling outages. Each refueling brings new waves of contractors, suppliers, and spending into the region, creating a repeating economic heartbeat that lasts for decades. But it isn't only the economy that feels the impact. The environment may be the biggest winner of all. Over its 20-year lifespan, the Crane Clean Energy Center is projected to cut more than 61 million metric tons of carbon dioxide. What does that really mean? Each year, that's about 3 million metric tons gone, the same as taking 1 million cars off the road. In a regional grid still dominated by fossil fuels, the effect isn't small. It's immediate. It's dramatic. And those cuts matter most right now. The PJM grid still relies heavily on coal and natural gas, so every nuclear megawatt hour replaces a fossil one. That makes the plant's early years especially valuable, when carbon reductions have the greatest impact. Unlike renewables that vary with weather, nuclear's output is constant, every hour, every day, delivering steady cuts that wind and solar alone can't guarantee. So how much power does this one plant really provide? By 2030, it could make up 0.8% of all electricity in the PJM grid, the largest wholesale electricity market in the United States, spanning 13 states and Washington, D.C. Even more striking, it could deliver 2.2% of PJM's clean, firm generation. That's not just a footnote. That's a backbone of reliability at a moment when renewables desperately need firm support to keep the grid stable. But here's the other side of the story. Nuclear power has always carried shadows. Costs can rise, timelines can drag, and the problem of long-term waste storage still has no final answer. And then there's the weight of history. 3 Mile Island itself carries scars. To some, reopening the site feels like reopening old wounds, a reminder of 1979's partial meltdown when Unit 2 failed and public trust in nuclear power collapsed. But for others, this rebirth feels like redemption. Could nuclear power change from a warning story into a pillar of progress? That's the hope. The new Crane Clean Energy Center isn't only about restarting a plant, it's about giving it a new identity. Where once 3 Mile Island meant fear, it may soon stand for resilience, clean energy, and the future of technology. At its heart, this project is about balance. How do you keep the lights on when the sun goes down or the wind stops? That's where nuclear steps in. It fills the gaps that solar and wind leave behind. It makes the grid stronger in ways that batteries and natural gas alone can't. And it powers AI, an industry so hungry for energy that it raises as many questions as it answers. So what do the numbers really mean? The jobs, the carbon cuts, the boost to the economy, they all point in one direction: change on a massive scale. But look closer, and there's a deeper story. This is where two revolutions meet. Nuclear power, born in the 20th century and nearly undone by fear. Artificial intelligence, shaping the 21st and pushing human systems to the edge. And here, at 3 Mile Island, they join to write a new chapter. The rebirth of 3 Mile Island shows how yesterday's fears can fuel tomorrow's progress. A place once marked by fear is now being reimagined as the power source for the digital frontier. For Pennsylvania, it means jobs, growth, and cleaner air. For Microsoft, it means a fortress of electricity to power its global empire. And for the world, it raises a question: is nuclear about to become the backbone of our digital future? We'd love to know what you think. Share your perspective in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay with us on the journey.